call Sharing Her Inspiring Array of Faces in Color. Sharron Clear is up next. Hey, Sharron, welcome to the call. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I'm above ground, alive and well, so there's no complaints because it's better than the alternative.
That's exactly right.
And so, just, real quick to provide a little context for the listeners, because they're probably wondering who Sharron is. Give us the bio. Who is Sharron? Tell us your story.
Hey, my name is Sharon. I'm originally from Tennessee. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia from San Francisco Bay Area. I've been here. I loved California, but I moved here for job opportunity. I have three children. I'm divorced. I have, I started, I'm on Instagram. I started my business, Array of Faces, because I love fashion. And I started that almost 2 years ago. But I love fashion. I love motivating. I love inspiring women. And just that's just a little bit of my story. And thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for coming on the call and then, allowing us to have a story to share. And so, kind of let's dive back a little bit to pre exploring into fashion and Array of Faces and all of that fun stuff. So I know you were at youngest of four, right? Athletic girls, and you were the girly girl athlete,
Right, 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 right.
self-proclaimed girly girl athlete.
Right,
I don't know
right,
how you put
right.
that together, but when I see it, it's like, yep, there she's an athlete, and yeah, she's a girly girl.
Yeah, well, my mom, I'm the youngest of all girls.
Hmm.
My mom loves sports, and she always wanted to get us involved with sports. We're all athletic. I was a swimmer, played basketball. My sisters played basketball, cheerleading, track and field. I absolutely love sports, and I have no idea why I never went into the sports rim, but that was pretty much my childhood growing up, just being outdoors and fun. I had a sister that was killed by a drunk driver. So that was a tragic
Hmm.
time in my life for my parents and us. And we went through that period, and I still, it still affects me to this day. So I got involved with MAD and my mom and my sisters and I. So drinking and driving is one of those things that really touches me even to this day. But yeah, my childhood was fun. Like I said, outdoors. It wasn't like it is now, sitting inside on video games. But I love playing with my dolls, though. But otherwise, we were outdoor
Uh-huh.
girls and very, very, very active.
No, I love it. And so just to kind of touch base, because one of the goals of the podcast, the primary goal of the podcast, is to share so many different stories from so many different people that nobody that listens will be able to use the excuse of why they can't. And so
Right.
a lot of times it's so easy to kind of turn inwards and allow the negative to overwhelm you when you experience such a traumatic event.
Right.
And so for really, how did you cope with that? Because when you're the youngest, you really look up to your
Oh,
sisters,
absolutely,
especially
absolutely.
all girls. Like it's like when it's all
We're all
girls,
of
it's
our
like you're
best
one
friends.
little unit. You're
Yes,
one little unit,
yes.
and it's like now it's like you lost a musketeer. So what do you
Right,
do
right,
when, Athos is no longer there and it's none of your fault? It's because it's very easy to also point the fingers at
right, right.
that guy, because we see it in society all the time, right? Especially,
Hmm.
just look at the newspaper. Somebody's pointing the
Right.
finger at somebody because they did something. And like really that comes down to just having a victim mentality, which
Right.
I'm
That
also
is
very
so true.
against because, it's kind of one of those things you can point a finger at somebody else, but you got three more pointing at you and so on and so forth, however you want to do it. But at some point, you really have to, at some point, you should make the decision to move on because you never get over it, but you do
Hmm.
have to learn to live with it. And so
Right.
really how did you do that at such a young age and still use that, motivation for lack of better words to kind of fuel your passions and everything now?
Well, what affected me more is seeing my mother and father. My mother went through a nervous breakdown. It was so hard for her to get over because she wasn't there, but she was kind of there. She heard everything at the end, and she it affected her, and I saw how much it was just a tragedy for my parents. And my sisters and I, we try to hold them up. We try to be strong for them because it affected them more than I mean, because the mantra when you lose a child is like it's nothing compared to losing a child. So that part of it, and then being the youngest, I saw that and I said, I something has to happen. We have to still live. We have to still go on. We're a happy family. And it was really difficult. It was really difficult seeing my mom in this state of depression and not really knowing, what to do. So it was just that me and my sisters, we just kind of held it strong. We're believers in God, and
Mm-hmm.
we prayed and just tried our best to go on and live our lives and not allow that to stop us from living in a sense. So yeah, that was
No,
pretty much.
no, I like it because especially when you confide in your sisters or you find your own network of support and your support
Hmm.
was fortunately right next door or in the same room as you for the
Right,
majority of the time and dealing with it and growing and using that to almost add fuel to your fire of
right.
life. And so obviously then you grow up and then you get older, get wiser, and then you start doing the life things, right?
Right.
And so
And
kind
here
of
comes life.
yeah, and then it's like, hey, boom, kick you in the face. Cuz ultimately this is the blunt truth and I tend to do that a lot. It's life doesn't
Hmm.
care what you're going through.
Doesn't care at all.
Doesn't care.
Yeah.
For
Doesn't
for
stop.
me,
Doesn't
it
stop.
was like, when my dad passed away, it was immediate. He was a police officer, died in a car crash. I went to work the next day because it's like, hey, I still have bills to pay.
Right,
Like life
right.
doesn't stop. But my boss sent me home. And so which is I get it, but but it's just kind of one of those like you have to like you can't let things bring you down.
You really
Like
can't.
you
I mean,
can't
you
let it
got to
stop
pick
you.
up. You can't just like stop living because of a situation. Otherwise, you'll be in a state of depression, a state of mourning, and just give up, really.
Yeah.
And how can I go on? How can I do this? How can I continue with my life when something as tragic as losing a sibling, and
Mhm.
for my parents, losing a child? So, yeah, it's very difficult. It's
Mm.
very, and each person, of course, deals with those type of situations differently. I mean, you can't compare one to the
Yeah,
other,
it's not cookie
but
cutter.
yeah, it's really not. So yeah,
No,
and that was the thing.
no, I love it. And so I hope anybody that is dealing with that is able to take a little some words of wisdom from you and just understanding that hey, life doesn't end. It hurts. It sucks, but you need to keep going because that person would be like, get off your butt and go do something.
Right.
Like I'm gone. Why are you still crying? It's been a while. Like I miss you too, but keep going.
Right,
And
right. But
so,
yeah, it's
but
difficult.
once you kind of got through that and you worked through that, grew up, and then kind of where you kind of were dabbling in the fashion stuff, but so where did the communications and journalism come in?
Well, I left for college at 17, and I went to Tennessee State University, the same college Oprah attended, and I wanted to study journalism. I used to see the same news reporter on television, and I just was so intrigued by it. I said, this is what I want to do. I want to be on television. I want to become an anchor and, get on TV, travel, and do all that. So I went off to college. Um, and I spent a few years and I ended up coming back home. I left after almost 3 years and I ended up coming back home, was homesick, got in a relationship, and didn't go back to school. And a few, and a few years later, I met my ex-husband and had children, married, and the rest is history. That's kind of like
You
what
did what you
happened.
were, air quotes, supposed to do next, right?
Right, right, right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, family called, and there goes the journalism, there goes the communication,
yep.
and my life started a whole new chapter.
You had to check the boxes of society.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what happened.
and people wonder why I tell my kids, no, don't do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not all what it's, talked up to be. Go against the grain. And really kind of on that subject, where did that take you? Because
Yeah.
you got the degrees, and so obviously you're not so much in communications and journalism now. You kind of
Yeah,
are
but
indirectly, but
indirectly,
yeah.
but not really. But yeah, when I left college, moved back to Tennessee, I met like I said, my husband, and we moved a few times, and I was a
Hmm.
mom. I did, stay at home mom. I worked here and there part time, did different little things here and there, but pretty much I just was raising my children. And then, years later, I decided to go back to school
Hmm.
and I completed my bachelor's and I also ended up getting my MBA.
Okay.
And, but yeah, I knew that I always wanted to have my degree. I mean, in some, I don't know, just was one of those goals. I was like, well, I started, I want to finish.
Uh-huh.
So, so that's what happened. I ended up going further than what I thought I would do, but I ended up getting my degree in management business versus the communication journalism. So
Yeah.
yeah, my path changed.
No, and so how would you coach your kids now? Because for me, I am very blunt with my kids. They're of an age to do so. And so it's, don't fall into the trap of you have to go to school to get good grades to get a good job.
Exactly. And I feel
You
that.
don't need a college degree. And like if you feel the need of giving a university 40, 50, $60,000 just so you can get a piece of paper, give it to me. I'll print one out off Google.
You would.
Like if that's all you're caring about, because they're really irrelevant unless you're going into a specific trade. If you want to be a
Right.
doctor, then yes, go to school, because I'm not going to accept your Google degree if you're cutting me open.
Right, right. My son, one of my son wants to be a physical therapist, so of course he
Yes,
has
get
to
the
go
degree.
to school.
But it's
Yeah,
like
he's an
if,
athlete, so
yeah,
he wants to do like work for maybe a NFL team or something. So he needs the education, not
yeah,
really much a degree because, but he needs the education
yeah,
to do
you need
so.
it. Yeah.
But I let them know that you don't have to have a degree to live and to make. I mean, it's a lots and lots of things that you can do
Yeah,
without a
it
college
was the
degree.
university system was put in place for a different economic structure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I mean they're a business, and that's what people need to understand is like no, they're like the university system is big business. and they're making good workers. So have fun with that.
And it's super expensive. I
It
mean, now
is. It's not
college
getting
is
cheaper
just
either.
outrageous. I mean, even for community college, and it was at one point where you can go to a community college. I mean, it is less expensive, but
Hmm.
it still cost, and then it's so many times where it's like, okay, you can go and get your minor courses at the community college and then transfer maybe, but then it's just really, really expensive
Yeah.
these
I
days.
mean, just to give a ballpark, how much have you spent? Because you have your MBA,
Hmm.
but you also spent time studying in communications and journalism. So there obviously was a major change,
Oh gosh,
once or
hundreds
twice,
of
which
thousands.
happens. You know what I mean? But that's the point. I'm not saying what you did is wrong. Like you had a goal, and so you were gonna accomplish that goal, which I
Right,
understand.
right.
But it's like you look back on it, and it's like, well, how much did you spend, and what are you using that degree for? Because
And yeah, and
ninety
it's still
percent of the
like
people with degrees aren't using them.
they're not using them. I mean, I
Yeah.
know people who have, I don't know, psychology degrees and they're selling real estate.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Right. And it's like I went to school to get my, or like the worst ones are like I went to go get my bachelor's degree to be an interior designer. It's like,
okay,
wow.
you don't need a you don't need a
Like,
degree.
or Polish dancing. It's just like, what? Why? So you have a
Right.
piece of paper so you can put something at the end of your name saying you have a degree? Like, I tend to go off on a
Mm-mm.
tangent with this though. Obviously.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I totally understand what you're
Yeah, and
saying.
so
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
it's
glad you get it because and this is a very fun conversation because you get it, but you also pursued the degree, and you not even just got the degree, you got your MBA, and you're getting your I think are you getting your second MBA to in
Well,
instructional
I
design?
started an MBA. Yeah, I started a second MBA. I'm like, I don't think I will finish, because the mere fact of one course is $3,000 or $5,000 or
Yeah,
whatever it is, and it's like, okay, what am I doing with an instructional design degree? I'm a blogger, you know.
yeah.
It's like I'm a fashion blogger, so I don't need another degree for
Yeah,
that.
it's kind of one of those like,
So
how many
yeah.
courses is it gonna take? Oh, I need like, I gotta take 20 more courses. Okay, 20 times 3,000. Okay, there's another $60,000 that you're out. Or you can take half of that, throw $30,000 into your marketing budget, like hit up Instagram ads, Facebook ads, get
Oh,
people out there.
absolutely. And just blow
Now,
up
what's your
for
return?
sure.
You know,
Right.
and it's just like, what's your goal? And it's like, if your goal is just to get a piece of paper, that's a bad reason to go to school.
Right.
So school is
Right.
right for the right reason.
Right. But like you said, $30,000, I can start a fashion line. I could do, I
Yeah,
mean, uh, countless things
you can be the
with
next
that.
Chris Jenner.
Exactly.
I planted the seed, and now you're gonna be like, damn it! Now I have to do.
I know. Exactly. Exactly.
What's the next
Yeah.
show? Who are the next what are the next ads I'm
Right.
running?
Right.
All right, Zucks, what's the Facebook promos? What are these ads
Yeah.
running? And how am I going to create content for the 30 to 40-year-olds and then the 40 to 50-year-olds? And yeah,
Right.
there's just so much out there because no, it's not just one ad, hits them all.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
diverse.
so much. It's so many different types of things that you can do.
Yeah.
And not to say, I mean, I don't want to ever knock getting furthering your education, but certainly that's not all it is. I mean, it's so much more you can do
No, I
without
love it. I
going to
love I
college for four
love that you
years.
yeah, I love that you said it the way that you did because it really preaches and mirrors what I tell my kids. I was like, you need to understand the difference between schooling and education.
Hmm.
Schooling has a time limit. It's called a 4-year degree, or you can go longer depending on what you want to do. Education lasts a lifetime.
Every day you're learning. Every day it's something you can
Yeah.
learn something about, just like listening to this podcast, like we talked about,
Yeah.
it's just about reading and just a, so much information out
Yeah,
there.
it's we're in the age of technology. It's not the industrial revolution; it's the technology revolution now.
Exactly.
And so technology equals information overload. So if somebody
Right.
says they can't figure it out or they don't have the access to learning it, it's like, do you not have Google?
Google is it.
Yep, Google's the new mom.
Yes.
It's like,
I've
don't
even
ask
heard
mom, ask
people
Google.
say, yeah, I've even heard people say, "Oh, do you know so and so?" Google it.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
new
That's exactly
thing.
what it. Just Google it. It's like it's an adjective. It's a verb. It's a noun. It's everything. It's
Right.
Google is its own thing. It's whatever you need it
Yeah.
to be.
Google it. Google
Yeah,
me.
and
You
yeah,
don't know who
exactly. There you
I am?
go.
Google me.
Yeah, array of faces. There you go.
Yeah, right
And
there.
so using this though, but using kind of like all of everything that you went through in life, right? Because you've had the loss of your sister, being there, coming together with your other sisters, and kind of becoming that support system for your parents, pursuing the college degree, realizing that's not exactly what you need in today's society,
Right.
but then it became a personal ambition, be like, I want to get my MBA, and then
Mm-hmm.
pursuing now, your social media, building that up into what it is, and pursuing your passion of fashion, which ties into pursuing happiness because that's what you're happy
Right.
doing. And that's also a
Right.
whole nother conversation we can have because everybody's trying to impress the Joneses and buy the $200 pair of shoes to impress people that don't even really care.
Not. No, not to me.
It's like
Not
pursue
to me.
happiness. Nothing's wrong with fashion, but make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
Right, right,
Look
right.
good for you, not for what everybody else is going to say about you.
Yeah,
you
because
know
fashion, when it comes to fashion for me personally, is my own personal style. This is something that I love. I don't, and I want to teach women and just people in general, you don't have to break the bank to look good. You, it's your own personal. You feel comfortable in wearing what you want to wear and what you feel like
hmm
makes you feel good.
And so where did this start? Because I've scrolled through your Instagram a little bit, and the outfits are, it's like, are these like photo shoots from a magazine? Am I looking at Vogue? Like, it feels like I'm scrolling through.
Are you
Like, what that movie?
serious?
What is that movie? The one with the
Uh,
girl that works at the Prada, the Devil
yeah.
Wears Prada. There we go. It's like I'm looking at something that would be featured in that. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
have
How they took
never seen
how
an episode of that.
how they
Never.
yeah. So it's the it's a movie, and it has
Oh, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. Oh, I
but
know
it's
what it
just
is.
it's yeah, but it's like, but it's all about like her being some nerdy girl, and then she breaks into the fashion world, and then it's just all of that stuff. But like, that's what I feel like I'm looking at. It feels like I'm looking at their magazine or something. And
Wow,
so
that is so great.
where did it come from, and where did you, because it clearly took a lot of being self-aware to understand what your goal was. Because in fashion, it's
Well,
very easy to just, oh, that's the new thing I'm supposed to get, so that's what I get. Versus, and then you have the other side of it where it's like, I'm not going to do anything that I'm supposed to do. I'm just going to do me. And it works.
and that's it for me. I have always loved fashion. I would go. I've been thrifting since I was maybe 12. My mother would tell me, like, why are you going to those rag stores? I mean, where are you going with that? I mean, when it was not even a thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thrifting. I would take my sister's clothes and cut them up and make my own. I'm wearing, like, I designed my own prom dress. And I've always loved being different. Maybe I didn't like wearing what everybody else liked, wear and what everybody else wore, and that was just something that I've always. My mom, having all sisters, we are all, like I said, girly girl athletes. So
Yeah.
she bought us the clothes. We dressed up for the 4th of July. We had, Easter outfits, and we had, all these
You were
all
dressed to
these.
the nines if you were walking out the door.
Yes, absolutely. That is my mom to this day. She's a fashionista. She is still loves to dress up, but for my style, I like wearing what makes me comfortable. I don't really look at anybody else. I don't, follow any certain trends. I don't follow any certain, customs. I just see it, I wear it, I like it, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I wear what I want to wear. I don't spend thousands of dollars on, clothes. I
Mm-hmm.
still thrift. I will buy, something at the Dollar Tree and put it together. That's my style.
So we're gonna totally dive down that rabbit hole because I can't not. So you have to share with everyone, what is the art of the thrift?
The art of the
There's I
thrift.
mean there's got to be obviously it's a skill set, because
Well, you
if I go
have
to
to
the Dollar
first.
Tree, I'm not putting anything together to wear. I can promise you that. I'll walk out with some candy
I know,
because I'm
right?
going to the
Well, they don't
movies.
really have clothes. I was just being
I
like
mean, I get what
sarcastic.
you're saying. Like you can go to like the Ross or whatever, or even
Right,
or the
wherever,
even the
wherever.
Goodwill. Like
Right.
Goodwill's,
Oh
like
yeah, I
I've heard
shop
of
there
people
too.
like get a bunch of stuff from Goodwill, but it's like what's is how much time does it? Obviously, it takes a little time because you have
It's
to filter through a
patience.
lot of
When it
stuff.
yeah, when it comes to thrifting, it's all about patience. You have to have patience and you have to have an eye for different. For I mean, you're really looking for your own personal style, but for me, I've been thrifting for a long since I was 13, and it's something I'll go. I don't do it as much as I do now. I don't have a whole lot of time because it does take time.
Hmm.
It takes time to scavenge through all the junk, really,
Yeah.
of all the stuff that somebody's donated that probably had for 50 years.
Yep.
But it's all about that eye. For me, I love color. If you can see on my Instagram, I
Hmm.
love color,
Yep.
and I'll put together a piece. Maybe I paid, you know, $60 for a top, but I'll put it together with some slacks that I paid $2 for.
Hmm.
So it's all about mixing and matching for me, and just putting it all together and making it work for me. And if it carries over on Instagram, people are like, "Oh my gosh, how do you put this together? Where did you get this?" And some of the things I do buy because I want to encourage people to, and they can wear what I'm wearing. But yeah, I typically just put it all together. It's really effortless to me. It's not a
Way
lot
to
of
rub it
work.
in.
Yeah, I'm
Like, yeah, I
sorry.
didn't even try. I just threw it
It's
on.
not
And I look
hard.
like I walked off of the cover of a magazine, but whatever. And then you got people like me where it's like, okay, wait, does that go with
What should
that?
I
I
wear?
mean,
Yeah.
I kind of like just after a while, you kind of get the hang of it. And so now it's funny
Hmm.
because my son is now asking me because he's coming up on 12. So now he's becoming a little more, oh, maybe I should wear stuff that actually
Right.
matches.
Right. Because some people because I remember my son was like, "Mom, why do I have to match? Like, why does it have to match?"
I
He
just
said
want to
that
be
to me.
comfortable.
Yes,
It's like,
exactly.
well, I
It's like,
want you to
why does
not
it
look
have
like
to
you just walked out of bed.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, putting together fashion for me, even for men, I mean, having three sons of my own, it's one of those things where, when you think about personal style,
Hmm.
it's whatever makes you comfortable. And sometimes you stepping out of the box, going against the grain, that's my thing. Not going with the most popular,
Yep.
just doing what you feel you want to do. And that's pretty much my mantra,
Just
you
make
know.
sure the outfit is loud and then you'll be proud.
That's right. That's right. Add some color because I've never really been like a neutral black and white type of girl.
Uh-huh.
So when and I have darker skin, so it's one of those things where it's like I gotta have some color to bring some color to this chocolate over here.
Yep. You like yeah, like yeah, like I'm just kind of scrolling through it now and it's like yeah, it's just like there are the neutrals, but you use it as a contrast to make the other
Absolutely.
piece just be even brighter.
Right. Right.
And I
That's
was like,
right.
what does she
That's
mean
right.
she doesn't wear neutrals? I know what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's physics. I learned this in school.
Yeah, do you know anything about fashion? Do you?
Not, I mean, just whatever I figured out on my own. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
the uneducated. Like, sure, I'll throw it together. My wife
Right.
says I do, but it's like, no, I whatever. Because I'm also have the mindset of I don't care what anybody thinks, and it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing, but I don't
Yeah.
care because it's kind
Right.
of one of those like I don't I care what you think, but I don't care what you think.
Exactly. And it's so different when it comes to men because I've worked in retail in high school and some in college. I mean, being in the men's men's department versus the women's department. A man can come in, you guys know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
You know what you want. You're looking for
Yep.
a
I'm looking
shirt,
for that,
you're looking for,
that, and I'm out.
right, you're gone. You
Yep.
look, but we are a totally different animal. We will stay in the store, try on 200 pairs of shoes and not buy one,
Yep.
not buy one of them. So, and you guys are just totally different than us. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I like, like the Amazon method of where it's like, yeah, I can order it and just have it delivered. Perfect. I don't even have to go to the store.
Mm-mm. No, no. Yeah, because men, you guys are just totally different when it comes to fashion and
Yeah,
just shopping,
I know
period.
my size. I don't have like 10 different sizes and 10 different, makes, clothing lines or anything like that. And but and so all of this love and this passion of for yourself and your own fashion and your own designs, how did that really turn into Array of Faces?
Well, I just did it. Well, it was in the making 6 years prior to when I started. I remember just printing out blogging, things about blogging. This is before Instagram even hit, like 2000 and gosh, 11, 12. And I was like, I want to blog. I don't know what it is. I've seen it. I just want to write because I love writing and sharing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just so afraid. I didn't really know where to start. And I even have it now, like down in my basement in my file cabinet. I have all these printouts of blogging. I mean, it has the date on it, 2012, 2013. One day I'm going to share that on my website. I have it. I mean,
Nice.
it's like right there. I'm like, why didn't I do it? What was I so afraid of? And then, when I got a divorce, things changed. I had to work, multiple jobs just to try to make ends meet.
Yeah,
And then after a
life happens that
while,
way.
yeah, life,
You got
exactly,
to do
life,
it.
yeah, I had to just make sure I provided for my children.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I was following this one blogger. Her name was Chrisada. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She passed away like last year. She was like, she died of cancer, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like just motivating. And then on her deathbed, I think I listened to her live, and she said, just do it. This is before I actually started, and I just went full force. I was like, I'm gonna post. I'll, you know, share I mean, I didn't really shop a whole lot. I was really posting things that I have right here in my closet. And
Uh-huh.
then one thing led to another. I gained more followers, and then, met some people, and I just started doing, and now it is to where it is now, and it's still growing. So I'm so excited. I'm just so excited that it's taken off. Like I said, I'm working on my website, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to start that, and look forward to doing bigger and better things.
And
And hopefully this corporate thing will be a thing of the past soon.
yeah, no, I love it. I'm right there with you. And so what's really the upcoming future, because I know you've got a lot of things going on, so and I know your inspiration is really to help inspire and help, women kind of find their own voice of their own fashion style, right?
Right,
And
right.
so how are you really getting that interaction with your consumers?
Yeah, it's just
And being able
about
to share with them, and so how are they getting like the tips and tricks, or what did we call it, the art of the thrift? How are they getting your little tips and tricks on how to do it and how to find their style?
Yeah, but whenever I do post, I may put it in stories, but I want to really dive into more of it once I start blogging, which is within the next few weeks of when I really start getting in and getting more, involved with my life, and
Uh-huh.
just not fashion, but just life, just
Period.
motherhood,
Mm-hmm.
not per se politics or religion, but just life,
Yeah.
things that we deal with as women and society, just just everything, lifestyle, from cooking to, restaurants to, just finding happiness in whatever it is. And that's what I'm really, really focused on, is building an audience so that I can take it from Instagram or
Mm-hmm.
from social media to my own platform. So That's
No,
what
I
I'm
love it
working on.
because while you were talking about it, I was just thinking in my head, I was like, it would be such an amazing thing for her if she had like a series of recordings where it's you have like a videographer or somebody just
Hmm.
literally almost filming you the entire day from start to finish, from like, hey, getting in your car, obviously, how you fast forward like through these certain segments and stuff like
Right,
that,
right.
but it's you doing like actively doing the art of the thrift where you it's like, hey, got in the car, went to the thrift shop, and
Hmm.
literally a fast forwarded version of you spending 3 hours trying to find that one or two things that
Hmm.
pop, and then how you go and then you find something else that matches with it, and then it's like that's what she did to get that outfit. And it but
Yeah, then
because
that's how it is.
just
That's how
think
it
of the
is.
but yeah, but you think of like how your consumer is gonna like
Right.
be able to be like,
Gravitate toward
wow, like
that.
that's what
Yeah.
she does. Like that's like I get it now because seeing like reading it is different, or like hearing you just make a few comments about it is different. But I think that's going to be a real engagement point for you and the consumer
Yeah.
because they're
And
just going to be like,
seeing
now
it in,
it's going to be
because
an
some
even
people
bigger
don't,
connection.
right, right. Because some people don't realize, like, how did you find that, or how do you go by finding that? It's just, and some people don't have patience. They want to go into a store or go look online and just buy something and not go through racks and racks of
Yep.
clothes to find that one
That's what
perfect.
Macy's is for if that's what you want.
Yes, yeah.
They have everything spread out and nice and organized for you, and you don't have to, troll through hanger and after hanger. But
Right.
another thing I thought of, what was it? It was I'm here. I'm like thinking about your business and how to grow it right now.
Okay. Well, thank
I
you
don't
so
know why I'm doing
much.
like it's just that's how my brain works. And I was like, how would as a consumer, how would I want to engage with her? And it'd be like, you should run a targeted ad like for people that are around like with it for your followers, right? So you run a targeted ad from people that are in with maybe a 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius with you, and you run like a raffle or a drawing, and then the winner, like you take them thrifting for a day.
Oh, that would be so good.
Because not
That's
only is that
good.
like that, you're going to collect on that in perpetuity because they're going to go and tell everybody what just happened, one, and two, that thing's going viral within your
Right, right,
following, and they're gonna start like,
right.
wow, like she just did that. That just happened, and they're
Hmm.
now it's
And
gonna
I
be like,
want to do
where's and
something
now it's
like
like,
that.
where's the next one?
Right. And I thought about doing something like that anyway, even around the country, like going to different cities,
Yeah,
meeting just ordinary people that follow me that I never get an opportunity to see other than, being on social media,
yeah.
going and having
Do like a
meetups.
pop up shop.
Yes.
Be like, boom, and
Yeah.
then just hit up the Goodwill or whatever before, and be like, hey, FYI, I'm about ready to bring a whole bunch of business to you tomorrow, so you better make sure you buy me lunch.
Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely want to do something like that
That
to
would be
really get
fun.
engaged and get a lot of women and a lot of people involved, and just fun. And because sometimes you think that, like I just talked about a few minutes ago, like that patience and not
Yep.
really knowing what to look for, and you thinking, oh, okay, this is just rags. These are just all dirty clothes. But
Well,
yeah,
yep. I mean,
it's
that's what it
it's
is,
some
right?
jewels.
One man's trash is another man's gold, and
Yeah.
so I think that's the whole purpose of it all, and just have fun doing it. But I love how you keep reiterating patience, and so kind of to bring it all full circle. How would you kind of share just from everything you've learned and pursuing this, just the importance of having patience for, say, the new person that wants to kind of become a blogging fashionista, And
Well,
so
well, you.
what's the nuggets outside of it? It's not going to happen overnight.
Well, patience in. I mean, it's good to look at other people, to get inspired and motivated by other people. But honestly, Jeff, you have to do it for yourself. If this is what you want to do, this is what, you're passionate about, and you want to, get into, this is something that you love, you just have to do it. I have sat on a dream and sat on this for years and not doing it. It's not like it's too late, but don't sit on what you want to do. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't, I know that some people's like, oh, I don't have the money to go and buy all these clothes. I don't have. Start with your closet.
Mm-hmm.
Start with what you have already in your closet. And because when you think about procrastination, it's a beast. It
Mm-hmm.
kills a lot of dreams,
Oh
really
yeah.
does.
Some of the
It
best
kill
ideas in the world are in a graveyard.
They're in the graveyard.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start it. And
Yep.
then fear comes into play as well.
Yep.
You're just afraid. And that was me too. I was afraid, like, what would people think about my weird style? What would people say? What would, how would it carry over to billions of people already on here doing fashion? That's why I wanted to kind of venture from the fashion. That's why I do lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
stuff as well. I want to venture because that's what really, because fashion takes you to some point, but people want to know about life
Yep.
stuff too. So yeah.
And you kind of touched on it just then. And can you kind of just really dive a little bit more into the importance of not comparing?
Oh my goodness. Comparing is the thief of joy. When you think about looking at other people and comparing your life to the next person's life, it will drive you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I've never ever looked at anybody's life and say, "Oh my God, they're living so much better than me." And I have to think about it. I'm blessed. I have, you know, as I mean, I can have as much as anybody has. It's just about hard work, and you just can't compare yourself to anybody. You can't sit back and say, "Oh, this girl has this many likes, this many followers. Oh my God, I want to be just like her." No,
Careful what
no.
you wish for.
Exactly. You don't know what it took for her to get
Yep.
to where she is. You don't know what she's doing. You don't know, even seeing people on television or actors, or you don't know what they did to get that part. You know, you don't,
Absolutely.
you don't know.
Absolutely.
You don't know what you. So you got to stay in your own lane, and you got to do you.
Yep. Oh, I
You
love
just
it.
got to do you.
I love it. And that reminds me, like when you said that, it's like, do you really want what that person has? Because I think it was a sermon that T.D. Jakes was preaching, and he kind of used that example of, like, oh, everybody says that, oh, they want, the relationship like Bishop and Mrs. Jakes. But
Right.
and then he turned around and asked him, I was like, are you sure you want that? Do you want a wife that just got in an accident and she was pushed around and can't walk for the first 2 years of your marriage?
Wow.
And it's like, you sure you want that? Do you want first lady's stripes and scars to be
Right.
like, you sure you want to be first lady? You're like, do you want everything that it took for her to become what she is now? Because everybody just looks at the final result, right? And thinks,
Right.
oh my gosh, wow. And, I use, other examples, like for Bruno Mars, for example, right? Like, oh, he's so talented and such a genius. Like, do you want to go through everything he went through to become that? Because he's been performing since he was 4,
Oh, Bruno. Oh,
5.
absolutely.
It
Yes.
wasn't just a
Yes.
one-hit wonder like Boyz II Men or any celebrity. Like, they've been doing
Right.
this for years. Do you want to go through all the no's and the rejection that it took for them to become what they are now? Because there's going to be a lot of rejection, but you got to have that thick skin. Hence, you can't care what people think.
You really can't. And you have to compete with your own self. You
Yep.
can't be in competition with anybody. I mean, you can't, you have to run your own race, really. I mean, you compare, you sit, oh my God, look at her. Look at what she's doing. Oh, she has all of this. She has this. Oh my goodness. You would drive yourself crazy. You would
Yeah.
drive yourself crazy thinking about it.
Yeah, and if you don't have inspiration, then just go to Array of Faces and scroll down that thing, and you're gonna feel like you're looking at Vogue.
Yes, that's what you need to do.
And it's like, boom, mic drop. That's how we do it. You're welcome.
Right.
No, but really, I know you have Array of Faces on Instagram, but where can everybody find you? I want to make sure people can find you if they want to get the little tips and tricks on how to, the art of the thrift, because I know you got that coming out. What if
Right,
you're going to be
right.
doing your little pop-up shops or whatever you're doing? Where can people make sure that they're in the loop on everything that you're working on before we get off
Well,
the
you
call?
can follow me on Array of Faces on all social media platforms. Um, Also, I have my own personal page on Facebook under my name, Sharron Clear, but it's pretty much Array of Faces. I will be starting my launching my website within the next couple of weeks, so look out for that. Arrayoffaces.com, and that's about it. I'm pretty much the same throughout, and I'll be blogging about everything from fashion to, motherhood, just lifestyle, cooking, awesome art. I love interior design, travel. So, yeah, just look forward to that and follow me.
Yeah, and if you're ever having a dull moment, just check her out because it will definitely bring a pop of color into your life, to say the least. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Array of Faces and you'll find out.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so
Thank you
much,
so much,
Jeff.
Sharon. That was great. And I am definitely going to tell my daughter to look at your Instagram page so she can figure out how to get this fashion thing down.
Oh, yes. And tell her to DM me if she sends me a message if she wants any advice, and
I
I'll help her out.
absolutely will. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me on the call. I look forward to seeing all your success and touching base with you again.
Okay, thank you so much, Jeff, for having me. You have a good one.
Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening today to this episode. I know you're having fun because I'm having a ton of fun. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends because we got so much more and I don't want anybody to miss it. Let's change lives. Share the podcast.